Hey, everybody. This is Jess. I am a recently laid off tech worker living in New York City with my partner and young kids. I am wrapping up on February. I also spent the last week in bed recovering from what I think was COVID. It totally kicked my butt. So I am coming a couple of days late with this update, but I actually like to wait a couple of days into a new month before I do all of my budgeting because I find it's usually a couple of transactions that are lingering, and I like to have those clear and start with a clean slate. So I double checked all of my bank accounts earlier today with my partner. We reconciled everything. We updated our tracking account balances. We added the earned interest from our bank accounts, and we are all ready to start March. Technically, it has started, but the YNAB sense of the word. We are going to start right now. So I'm going to go ahead and move to March. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the severance money that I have set aside for March into ready to assign. So for this month, a couple of things to update you on. First, we are going to take a trip at the end of the month. So I'm going to budget some money for that. And I budgeted some of the February money towards that to pay for our hotel. And I'm going to set aside some money for eating out and family activities and whatever fun things we decide we want to get into. Sure, it'll involve going to some museum or some other cool attraction. The other thing that happened was we got our taxes done. They are already submitted. We are awaiting our refunds. Thankfully, we did not owe a ton of money because we were paying quarterly taxes last year. So we had set aside money to pay for the tax accountant ahead of time, which is great. And one of the reasons I love YNAB, it helps me budget for those true expenses. And we also are going to have a refund coming to us this month. So that's going to help us stretch these severance dollars a little bit farther, which is the goal. I am hoping that we've got enough savings and runway and severance money set aside that we can make it to September, but we'll see how we get. I also noticed, just based on what we spent in February, and I'm curious to see after we do some budgeting in March, how the severance money is actually holding up. Is it covering everything? Is it covering most of our expenses? Are we about like 50-50? Because I really think the next couple of months are going to be evaluating what our real living expenses are right now, and then looking for places where we can start trimming back or cutting those down or saving money however we can. Okay, so I'm going to start with the essentials first. I'm going to go ahead and just do essential bills. I'm going to fully fund those. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to fully fund services and fees yet. This is money that I set up a target just to set aside for um, paying our tax accountant next year and whatever other odds and ends. Let's see what I have in the note. Sending things in the mail, paying for our accountant, paying passport fees. We are going to have to get a passport for one of our children soon. Driver's license renewal fees, fresh direct delivery fee. We have a couple of like just different services that we pay for. So I do want to save money for that or set aside money for that each month. But for now, I'm going to hold off on doing that. I may think about moving this out of essential bills. I don't know if it's essential. I think it's like kind of in the quality of life, family life category, but I'm going to leave it here for now and just keep it underfunded. I'm going to go back and do my childcare. These are essential and they get paid at the beginning of the month. I also have a little payment processing fee of $2 that I'm going to go ahead and add in here. just so that it's covered. You can see there's one here for the other kid. And let me just pay the car note real quick. And I'm going to fund our parking and tolls. Parking and tolls got very overspent last month. It looks like, yeah, 568. So this is definitely one I want to keep an eye on um, to see how that's going. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and introduce a new emoji for keep watch. Let's see. Maybe I'll do eyes. Yeah, I like those. Eyes watching. Um, I'm gonna watch that and just see if I can keep this on target or if it continues to be overspent. Gas looks like we did pretty good with gas last month, so I'm gonna leave this for now and I'll come back and fund it on the next paycheck. Cool. Food and dining. It looks like we actually did pretty good last month. We had some money left over from eating out each week, which is amazing. We had some money left over from groceries each week, which is also amazing. Usually I would say the last week of the month was just a couple of days. I tend to see, a majority of it left over. But sometimes, we do that big shopping trip on the last day of the month. That's cool. So I'm going to go ahead and fund these. It looks like I actually also have to recategorize this transaction because it happened on the 1st. It should be coming out of eating out week 1. Save that and go back to the budget. Okay. I'm going to fund the first 3 weeks of eating out and the first 3 weeks of groceries. And then I'll come back and take care of those week 4s later. Especially we'll see if maybe this is enough to cover those. And then I'm going to go down to family life. And actually, you know what? I think I have one bill that I need to pay on the 1st. Yep, I think this one comes out on the 1st. So let me take care of that. And I've got a couple of subscriptions that come out on the 1st. Take care of that. I'm going to come back to recurring bills and subscriptions, and I've got a couple of credit card annual fees I need to take care of too, but let me hold on that for a minute. There's one bill down here that is going to be a beast. Okay, so we have a rental office. The lease expires. It expires this month. So this is the last month we'll be paying a whopping $2,500. It's crushing our budget, and I am going to be so relieved when it's gone, but I do need to cover this for the 1st. So let me assign, let me just go ahead and hit the underfunded. Okay, yeah. And then I will go back into my didn't add anything to family life yet. We go back to food and dining. We're good on that. Yeah, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take out week 3 for now of this. And week 3 for this. I'll come back and fund the second part of the month for food on the next paycheck. And let me look at what we've got here. So I do need to pay some money for the dog and the cleaning person. Dog walker will be coming, so I want to pay some money for that. This medical and mental is covering our medical bills because we have a high deductible plan. So it's paying a lot of the deductibles and cost of visits up front. and we also pay for therapy visits. I'm going to take this down to 1,000 for now, and then I'll come back and make up the difference on next paycheck. And then I'm going to leave household supplies alone. We don't end up owing income taxes, like I said, this year, and we have this category to pay quarterly payments. We're not going to be doing quarterly payments this year, but I'm going to leave that as a placeholder for now. Um, Let me see. I'm going to also, the mortgage is due to the 28th. So I'm just going to also fund that on the next pay period as well. So I'm going to put that down to 0. That gives me a little bit more breathing room. So I've got that big bill covered in work expenses. Yep, so that's covered. And then I'm going to put some money for the dog food, dog walker. And then I'm going to put, let me do half for the cleaning person. And then let me do spending. And what are we missing? I'll go ahead and fund birthday. We've got a birthday, 2 birthdays coming up next month, actually. So I want to make sure we have some money for that. I'm going to hold on the babysitter for now. And I'm going to fund the difference of personal care. And what are we missing? Got that. Okay, yeah, let me do this. I think this is due soon. Oh, the 22nd, yeah. So let me fund that. And then I'll go ahead and fund these 2 as well. Okay. That's looking pretty good to me. Let me just make sure I've got, let me see how much we've got for the CSA. I'm going to go ahead and, let me wait on that. Let me make sure there's nothing else essential right now. Okay. I'm going to wait on my service fees. Actually, let me put 50 to this right now. Childcare is covered. Car cost is covered. Essential bills are covered. I'm going to come back and pay the mortgage later. I'm going to fill the rest of medical and mental later, and services and fees later. Okay, great. CSA I'm going to do later, and I'm going to fund the rest of eating out and groceries later. Great. Babysitter I'm going to hold off on, and cleaning person I've got half funded, so I'll do the rest of that later as well. Okay, I think I'm going to take the rest of this. As I said, we're going to take a trip the end of the month. So I'm going to just put, I'm going to put 400 to this right now, just for some eating out money, some family activities money, and I'm going to keep that there so it's ready for us when we need it. And I think this is where I'm going to leave it for now. Just to come back quickly to this recurring subscriptions category. So it looks like last month, let me just check and see. I've been keeping track of how much we spent. Okay, let me subtract the credit card fees from here. Okay. So the overall subscription spend last month was $273.14. I have been setting aside $300 here. So far that's been fine, but as you'll see, none of these have targets yet. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and add the targets for all of these different subscriptions. I think it's also time, we've talked about it and we've decided some of these things that we want to get rid of. So it'll be time to cancel some of these. And this is an area where I really wanted to be vigilantly watching where the money is going and looking for places we can cut back. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and set up all of those targets for the annual as well as the monthly, and then start hopefully trimming down this list pretty significantly. I'm going to try to keep it under um, 300 for now. I suspect when I add in all of the annual amounts, it's going to go above 300, but we'll see where we get. And I will share that in the next video. Otherwise, I think this is putting us in a pretty good place for right now. Um, next pay period, which will be coming up on the 15th. I'm anticipating we'll also have our return, a tax return by then. So, with that extra money, there's a couple of things that have to be taken care of. We have some moving costs for our office space we need to move out of. I believe there's a deposit that we pay that will be returned to us. So that money will probably be put towards the moving cost. And then there's a couple of things left underfunded. Looks like we're just under 4,000 that needs to be covered. Um, and then I'm going to start to take some of that extra tax money and set it aside for some of our savings goals. We have HSA, we have 529s, we have IRAs. We also are planning to send one of our kids to summer camp. So we need to budget for that ahead of time while we still have a couple of months to save for that. So those dollars will be getting jobs. But for now, I think we are all set. I am looking forward to seeing you again next time. Take care, and we will budget again soon.